disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome to the first episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flixx Extra. I am Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's happening?
So this is our first episode of Extra. What's up?
Man, just I thought this the play thing was done, and then my wife tells me last night I gotta go to like the ceremony, and I thought like it was gonna be for everybody, but it was more like kind of like a send off for the seniors.
Okay.
So I mean, it was nice and everything like that, but I mean, my kid was only featured for like a minute. You know what I'm saying? So
you sat there the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for over 90 minutes. So yeah, it was. I'm just saying, if you're gonna bring us all in again, I already spent 3 nights there. My wife did 4. And then we've been, this whole thing started in October. And, for the.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, my daughter was putting in, 4+ hours. And then the closer it gets to the play, they're doing 6-7 hours. That's a lot of time. Like, we had to give her Monday off because, like, she was getting home every night, even on Thursday and Friday. She wasn't going to bed till 11 o'clock. I mean, I was ready to go to bed. I got to get up before she do.
Right.
So, I mean, it was cool. I'm glad that, she did it and it was a good experience. But, yeah, they're killing me.
Okay. All right.
But other than that, man, no problem. Here we are again.
That's right. I feel like I just talked to you guys.
Yeah.
What's up, Angel?
What's up?
Nothing, man. My week has just been crazy. It's been a whirlwind of a week, but kind of getting myself ready to go for the weekend. Back to traveling again, so getting right back on, the type of stuff.
What's coming up?
I got Starcade.
Okay.
It's a huge tournament in Florida. It's probably like outside of like a national tournament, that's like considered like a national tournament. That's like not on a world tour. So I got set up there to do. I'm a seeded fighter, so I'm on like the nighttime show already. Because last year I won the open weight and then fought my way into a 8-man $1,000 tournament bracket. So now I'm automatically put in the bracket this year. So we got that on Saturday. And that's really it, man. So that's gonna be some real hard hitting. It's gonna be a real like rough weekend. That one you could fight without helmets, and it's more like boxing, kickboxing with point fighting. So it's gonna be a good fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Angel, was your first tournament since the injury, was that AKA or did you do something else before that?
Miami.
Okay.
Realistically, actually, my first tournament really since the injury, there was a local tournament in Connecticut. Like I'm saying like 5-10 minutes down the street from my house, like at a high school. And they were giving away some like big money. And I wasn't even gonna go because I had to go somewhere with my family at 12. And I talked to the promoter and he kept wanting me to go. And I asked him, I said, will you guys be done by 12? He said, I think we can. I went there. I'm not joking when I say I didn't even register. He just told me, don't worry, I'll take care of your registration. Just fight. He just wanted me to fight at his tournament. I think I started at like 11 and I was done. Like I fought the grand, won the grand right at like 12 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And I just grabbed the stuff and rushed home. And then I had to like literally put on a suit and go to a banquet with my family. I got there like just in time. But that was my first tournament. Then I went to Miami, Pan American Nationals, fought there, and then I did another tournament in Pittsburgh, and then I went to AKA in Chicago.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you definitely did not jump out there with a lot of ring rust on you.
No. I'll tell you what. I felt it's crazy. I fought in that tournament in Connecticut and won, and I felt like I had enough talent and just drills and everything that I was able just to like be okay and win. but like I won, like I was up like 5-0, and you go first to 7, and it ended up going into overtime. I couldn't, like I didn't like close it out the way I should have. And then when I went to Miami, dude, like going from like a local to then like fighting at like the national pace and like the pace that everyone has there, I was rusty. I was rusty in Miami, and I felt it. Like I felt I was rusty. Like I couldn't, like I saw everything, but I just couldn't get there, and like my mind and my body wouldn't go.
Mhm.
So like, it took some time. So I had to like kind of do a couple more tournaments after Miami just to get my body back to being normal, to then go to Chicago. And then
Right.
Chicago, I felt good, man. Like I felt really good in Chicago. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty much the same old over here. This feels weird a little bit as far as us not having to do a movie, and this is actually us interviewing someone. This is really, really different and really, really strange. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean,
We're,
the last time we did it, we had Mike kind of running it,
yeah,
mhm,
and it was, we were still doing a little bit of the movie interview, but also the actual interview. And
mhm,
so, I mean, I think that made it a little different. But I mean, we already did the movie, and
mhm.
now I think doing these interviews based on the movies we're doing and putting them as a Patreon extra, I think that's really just, to me, that's the way to go.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I think that
our
helps the brand, and it gives us a reason to have people go to the Patreon.
right,
yes.
and then definitely we need to contribute to the Patreon because we haven't done anything for Patreon. So
Yeah.
this is our first thing.
I'm on there twice. Angel's on there at least once.
Well, I haven't done anything, but I meant like Fist Kicks and Flicks. We haven't done anything, so
Yeah,
this is
no,
our
I
first.
hear you. I hear you.
Well, our guest has arrived, so I'm gonna bring him into the room, and Angel, you can do an introduction.
Yes, got you guys. Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Very good. Can you guys hear me well?
We can
Yes.
hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm amazed, first of all, that it's 35 something years since I did No Retreat, No Surrender, that people are still interested in me. I'm amazed I'm still getting fan email or fan messengers. Can they want to be my friend? I mean, this is beyond me. I mean, look at me. I'm an old man.
So for all of our viewers, we got Mr. Ron Pohnel on. He is not only in No Retreat, No Surrender, but he was definitely a martial arts legend, I would say, in just our community and our industry. So, sir, I just want to say first off, just thank you so much for coming on our show and actually being our first ever interview guest on. So, really want to appreciate it.
Wow. Well, you're welcome. I just did a podcast with Jason Flame no more than a few weeks ago. So
Oh,
I'm getting used to this. Okay. So if my mind goes blank for a second, you know why. Okay.
got you, no problem. So just the first question, just to kind of just brush up our viewers. Do you want to just talk about just some of your sport karate accomplishments and just your role in the martial arts? I saw some videos of you growing up. So if you want to just talk about that first.
Well, I came out of Sherman Oaks Karate with the Sherman Oaks Raiders. I mean, I was the first team captain of the Sherman Oaks Raiders that had Alvin Prouder, Barry Gordon, Dexter Brooks, and Leonard Creer, and Johnny Gyro. So we together, we won the international championships with me on the team 5 years in a row from 81 to 85. I left
That's
the team. I left the team and put another team together with Satch Williams and Mark Foster and a few other guys. And we met my old team on stage and we lost by a point. What a heartbreak. Be that as it may. So my reputation came from being a 5-time international champion. Okay. And then that's when I was being sought out starting to do films. And I was doing stunt work at the time. I did a first movie called Firecracker. And this is a funny story. So the woman comes in and she says, I'm doing a film in the Philippines and I need some martial art training because she's the star. And much like Machio, he's just just stood there like, you could tell they didn't know martial arts when they stood on screen. Okay, so I trained her and everything. She gets back and she says, "Hey, we got to do an insert. Can you choreograph a scene?" I go, "Whoa, this is great." So the first thing I do is I choreograph the scene. I get some stunt guys with me. And this is the craziest thing. So we're chasing her in a warehouse, and I'm pulling her clothes off as I'm chasing her. And now she's down to her bra and panties. This is crazy. You can look this up. And then I've got a sickle, and there we go. And boom, bing goes the bra, and voila. Okay, so this, you can look it up. It's right there, called The Firecracker. Okay, so that was my very first film, and being in the Chuck Norris Karate School in Sherman Oaks, that's where all the celebrities went. That's where I trained them. That's where I knew them. And so next thing I get into was Force 5, which was another, film that Pat Johnson ran pretty much Sherman Oaks Karate at the time, and he was also a stunt coordinator. And if you ever know him, he's from Enter the Dragon. Each and every one of you who is on screen right now has studied Enter the Dragon. You just don't watch it, you study it. And he's the guy who goes, "It's the dough, Roper, or I'm going to break something." That's Pat Johnson. Okay, so he's been a stunt coordinator for years. And so he was in the Karate Kid. He says, "Ron, I want you to," so before the Karate Kid, he's doing Force 5. He says, "Ron, I want you to get in the helicopter, and I want you to double Benny Urquidez." I go, "Well, why doesn't Benny get in the helicopter?" He says, "Because if the helicopter crashes, I don't lose my star."
Lord. At least he was honest. Wow.
Okay, so anyways, yeah, I after that I did some ninja stuff with Shokazuki. Then I did Karate Kid 1 and 2, and then I actually auditioned. Well, when I say did Karate Kid, I'm just a stunt guy. All these things I'm doing stunts. So when I go to audition for No Retreat, No Surrender, it's a good thing that I didn't have to read anything. They just, "Okay, we want you to improvise a scene with the girl." Oh, I was a playboy. I knew exactly what to do with the girl. So I did the whole scene, and I did some martial arts for him. "Okay, you're in." So I was actually auditioning for the lead, but they wanted a younger guy, and I was 27. You couldn't get much younger, but they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I got No Retreat, No Surrender. And the good news about No Retreat, No Surrender was I trained for the movie as if I was training for a tournament. And I went all out. And the accidents that happened on the film that are infamous from Jean-Claude Van Damme, he didn't hurt me because I was in such phenomenal condition. He hurt everybody else. There's one scene where he's in the ring and he's doing jump spinning hook kick on Peter Cunningham.
Yep.
That was real. They used it. Knocked him out. Boom. He's cold. That was real.
So he actually did Sugarfoot.
Yes. Actually knocked him out. And we're going to Van Damme. We're looking at him. "Hey, man, this is a movie." And he says to me, "I want it to look real." I go, "What? It's a movie." So, and he was a funny guy. And this is what kind of ego he had when mine was close to the equal. He goes, "You are the best one here next to me." I go, "Oh, yeah." Okay. So anyways, we did our fight scene that you see in the ring took 3 days. And tempers were flaring because it's like Van Damme had no control. And I was ready to actually scoop him. You know what I mean by that? In the old days, we had groin shots.
Yep.
And I was a groin expert, and I was just going to give it to him, And then the producers put us aside. He says, "Okay, listen, calm down. We got to finish. This is our last day." So we got through it. But, as much as there's things about Van Damme I like, that I respect, because he became a producer. He was the kind of guy that came in under budget with his films. And he wasn't bad at doing his thing, but he's just a terrible person. He didn't mind hurting people. It didn't mind at all. The point to make was I had to go to court one time because he did a Cyborg movie. He actually did a stunt with a guy with a stunt knife and took his eye out.
Oh my God.
And the guy was suing him for the military compensation that he, wanted. If I was me and I go, "Oh my goodness, here, just let me pay you for it," right? No, Van Damme, we had to go to court. He fought it. and I was testifying that you had to be tough to do what we were doing. And basically I'm not a wimp. We weren't wimps here, but he did hurt the other guys.
Yeah.
And these were things that Van Damme did, and if I saw him and I'd talk to him too, say, "Hey, Jean-Claude, well, what's with you, man?" I still talk to him this day. What's the matter with you? So I want it to be real. Okay, fine. So, question?
That wasn't what he said in court, was it? He didn't say.
No. They wouldn't let him talk in court. They just didn't.
Probably smart. Probably smart.
Yeah. So. I'm pretty sure the guy did get compensated, but he lost his eye. That's sad. Really sad because somebody's got a terrible ego.
Yeah.
Oh, I can go on.
We are me now, Angel.
Say that again.
Where are you, Joe?
All right. So, first off, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. That was a wonderful story, actually. The first question I have is, and I asked this to pretty much any martial artist I meet. When did you start the martial arts, and when did you get your black belt?
Okay. I started. I think I was 16 years old. I must have been 72 or something like that.
Okay.
And I got an unprecedented 2.5 years to make black belt.
Oh wow!
In those days, it was a 3 years or 3 years plus. And I was a 6-day-a-week guy, and unless there was a tournament, and that'd be there. I went to a tournament after my first month of training. Okay, but to be a champion, I'll give you this much. It took me from day one 7 years to be a champion. So I went through 4 years of seconds and thirds to finally get the formula. Okay, so I started. I have a story that's really funny that you like. So I started, and this is after 2 months or 3 months of being karate, and I'm in high school at that time, and the guys are saying to me, I'm fooling around in gym class in front of the handball courts, and he goes, "Yeah, Pohnel, what do you think you know? You think you know karate? Oh, you think you know?" I'm eating an apple. I says, "Here, you take this apple, step back about 10, 15 feet, throw it at me. I'll just cut it in half." And of course, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have never done it. So I go like that, and I look like Macho in a Karate Kid stance, and he throws the apple, boom, and it breaks. I didn't do it. It just was luck. It was dumb luck.
Gotta take it sometimes,
But the thing is, I got a reputation in high school, and no one ever bothered me from that point on. Okay, so I was going to tournaments, and I got the bug about tournaments. And of course, you when you're a beginner, you're losing everything, but you have to find a formula. Have to find a winning formula. Yep. And aside from winning, losing, so I get my black belt. I'm still losing. So I hooked up with Mike Stone, the real Mike Stone.
Mike Stone,
the real Mike. Okay, so this is the true story. So Mike Stone was run out of Vegas by Elvis, and he ends up at Sherman Oaks Karate. And so we hooked up for private lessons. When I got privates with him, he gave me the extra pieces of the puzzle I needed to be a champion. And his definition of a champion, he says, "Ron, be a champion is a consistent winner." Okay. So once I got over the top, the hardest thing was not getting there. It was staying there. Okay. Yep. Because the truth is, my teammates were better than me. I may have been the fastest white boy out there, but the teammates had their formula before I did. I mean, they knew how to get me. Dexter Brooks was so tall, I couldn't get past him. Alvin Prouder was so fast, I couldn't get past him. Barry Gordon was one of the best, by far, defensive fighters ever. Him and I went back and forth. I was able to, get Barry here and there. So when I finally got there, then my career took off. But for most people would have given up. No one's gonna, stay there and do it for 7 years losing. But the formula does come. Next question.
Okay. How you doing, Mr. Pohnel? My name is Eugene.
Hi, Eugene.
Okay, so you already answered my first question that I had. So my second question, when I looked you up online, I saw that you have actually directed some movies. what made you get into directing? What made you want to go from being a stunt coordinator or stunt actor to being an actor to now directing?
Oh, this is so good. You guys are gonna have so much fun with these stories. Okay, so I go to Tahiti to live for a while, and I come back to Hawaii. And I was very blessed to get into teaching a Ron Pohnel Karate Academy in an athletic club. And one guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, the Access Station's looking for shows." I go, "I can do a show." So I did a show called Karate Talk. And I became an instant success right there on this island, And remember, the island is small. You're a big fish in a small pond. So I became a producer director on television first. Okay, so then my mother had some trouble with her real estate, so I came to California for a couple of years. And I came to help her, and I worked with Bob Wall at World Black Belt. "Hello, I'm Bob Wall, and this is World Black Belt, and you should invest in World Black." Okay, so anyway, he was so funny. He says, "Ron, I want you to answer the phone like me. Okay? Hello? No, I don't want it." Boom. That was Bob Wall. Okay. So Leo Fong's son, his name was Bong, worked at World Black Belt with me. So I hooked up with Leo Fong, and Leo Fong educated me on how to do films, from the transformation from television producer to film producer. He says, "Okay, this is the script. This is how to write a script. Okay, good. This is the show. This is the long shot. This is the show. This is how you cut in. Okay, this is the," and we went from there. So we did a movie called Thunder Kick together, and you guys, know who the mouse is, right? Michelle Krasno, remember her back in the day? So it starred the mouse and Jerry Wazinski from the UK, and and that was my first, endeavor as being a producer and a director. I also worked on it, but I just made sure, tried to keep a schedule and get it done. So the movie that you see behind me, Drifter TKD, is the one that I did, a credit card film, and I did the whole thing on that: produce, direct, write, so on and so forth, choreograph. Hey, so this one has a great story, something that no one would ever do. So I only had like 20 days to shoot this film. So I didn't have time for extensive choreography. So I told the guys that I'm working with, "We're going to fight on film, and then we're going to do the cutaways." So because, when people used to come to the internationals and watch me fight, they watched me fight because I was an exciting fighter. So why not put that on film? So I did all that. And the thing is, it worked. We went to Action on Film Festival, entered the film. I got nominated for Best Fight Choreography. I got nominated for Best Action Sequence. Now, Ernie Reyes Jr. had a film in at the same time, so I didn't win anything. But it didn't matter. It was the nomination. It was the nomination. I couldn't believe it. It worked.
Right.
So basically, I would do another film. I wrote a book called Undercover Reverend, which is the first action adventure Christianity book. I started out making it a screenplay, but it wrote too much, so it turned into a book. But I also would have auditioned for the Cobra Kai, and I think I would have gotten in there because I worked on the Karate Kid. But it's California. Who here's from California?
None of us.
None of us.
Good. That's right. Who wants to go there? I don't want to go there. I lived there. Now it's unrecognizable. So as much as I would have loved to do all that again, no. I would do another project if I could, but as of now, that should answer your question.
Okay. Angel, you're up next.
Yep. So I just want you to know, the stories right now, I am loving them. Just the amount of history and just things that we don't get to hear behind the scenes is just amazing. So like my question I have now is just looking back on what No Retreat, No Surrender was, the movie you directed. What is the difference between martial arts scenes and fighting scenes back then to now?
Oh my goodness. See, back in the day, okay. So Chuck Norris is my instructor, right? So Chuck used to bring, I was just a red belt. This is before black belt. He would bring the movie Return of the Dragon, just his part, and he put it up on screen. Seriously, put the screen in the studio, and all of us are sitting there watching it, and we got to watch him. So there we go with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. That was real fight choreography. Okay, after No Retreat, No Surrender, which is a cult film, I don't know how it happened.
It's a cult film.
Everything went towards wires. They had to get more extreme. And that's basically the total difference. I would still do old school on screen if I had the chance to do it again. Because, I mean, to look at it, the thing is, a real fight on screen would be awful. It would look terrible. You have to do some choreography, unless somebody has some kind of style, what you're doing, you know?
Right.
So the choreography, it got so advanced, it pushed Pat Johnson out as a choreographer. That's what happened. So Mortal Kombat, he just said, listen, Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry, you're out. This guy's in. And that's what happened to poor PJ. You know, that's what happens. It evolves. So I watched some things that are pretty incredible. You know, let's say Jet Li. I mean, you know, you see, Bruce Lee was mainly, he was the founder, and everyone patterned their lives out. But Jet Li evolved beyond Bruce Lee, and you know this, you know. So that evolution does come, and there's some kids out there in the martial arts circuit that are phenomenal, you know. But the difference is what a lot of people don't understand. As good as some of these competitors are, if they don't have a presence on screen, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? You have to have screen presence, and that's something that can't be taught, you know. So basically, I hope I answered your question.
No, you definitely did. That's just interesting. Before I go to Joe, I just want to ask, just to add on to that, I did not know you worked with Shokasugi, and we actually reviewed one of his movies, Pray for Death. So I just wanted to know, how has he evolved with the way stunt coordinating is now?
I haven't seen what he's been doing, but when we did Shokasugi, I did Ninja 3, The Domination.
Domination. Oh my God.
Okay. I was in that. Okay. So I did a stunt thing. And then this is another thing they made me do. I did the long shot double. So I'm Shokasugi. If you see this long shot and he's on a rock fighting, that's me.
Yep.
Okay. So I put the wig on and the patch and all that stuff, you know. But I don't know if Shokasugi did all his own choreography, but when we were doing that, and the TV show Master, that was cool. You know, that we all worked together. We all used the same stunt people for on that time. I haven't seen him recently. Does he do anything?
I haven't seen. I know more or less it's kind of like his bloodline is kind of taking over the stunts. But I just feel like you said, it's just the old school style of just what we see, just that type of fight choreography. I think I almost appreciate it sometimes when I see it now.
There's so much to be said for it. I mean, the wires, I mean, it's like, okay, can these guys really run across the top of trees? Okay. And you know, so the realism of even what Chuck Norris used to do, and his was basic stuff, you know. And Mike Stone always said this. He says, advanced technique is nothing more than basics put together. Bingo. You know, that's basically it.
That too. 100%.
Yeah. Yes. You know, go on. Next question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So you off the Angels' first question, you actually answered my second question, and very well, I might say, because it had to do with Jean-Claude Van Damme. But my third question, actually, your character Ian, I was wondering if you would have handled his situation with the being forced into a fight over his school. How would you have handled that personally? The same way, differently, maybe somewhere in between?
Are you talking about the Tim Baker role where they came into the school?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know that was my school? That was Sherman Oaks.
Yes, I believe Angel told us that.
Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what, and this is how it goes, because I ran schools. If someone comes in and challenges you, you got to take it. You have to. You know, you don't say, listen, why don't you come back? Give me a couple. No, it's like
he's old school.
Oh yeah. Someone
Thank you so much. I grew up under that tutelage, and that's my mindset. So when we watched it, I told everybody, I said, well, you gotta fight him. That's it. There is no other choice.
Well, you could have took the money.
So but basically that the sad thing is Tim Baker got hurt in those scenes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, it's just so sad. I mean, he really did get hurt. And but when you kept saying angel, I was thinking you were going to ask me something. Do you guys, I don't know if it's in your notes, but did you know I was a guardian angel?
No, I didn't know that.
We did not know that.
None of you knew that. Okay. Well, who wants to take it? You can write it in your notes. Whoever wants to ask me, I'll go for it.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. My time as a guardian angel.
Oh yeah, we definitely want to hear about that.
Okay, so basically, one of my red belts who trained with me went over to New York and was training with Sliwa. Sliwa sent him back and says, "See who you can get to start an LA chapter." And he comes and he says, "Hey Ron, listen, this is what I got going. This is so funny. Right here, I have all my guardian angel stuff. This is unbelievable. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull this down because I want to substantiate my claim. Hold on."
No, please do. This is everyone who's watching this. We are getting the real deal right now. Like this is the real deal.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's my guardian angel box. Let's see. Here's my actual guardian angel T-shirt. Did you see that?
Yep.
This is back in the 80s. Let me get it in front of the camera. Okay. This is my guardian angel hat.
That's what I was wondering about. The
Right
beret.
there. Yeah. And the cool things were, here's a picture of me and the mayor's wife back there, Mayor Bradley, back in the day. I'm getting some kind of award. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. I have, this is the picture taken by the LA Times.
Wow. Oh my God.
The coolest thing about this was I was unaware of the picture, but I love the flag thing because I am a patriot. 100%. Okay. And
cool.
I have the LA Times. This is the LA Times article with that picture.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
1981.
Hey, that's when I was born.
I was five. Angel wasn't thought of.
So the guardian angel trip, I wrote in my book about an experience that I had. And we were on patrol. So basically we had, I would say, good 20 guys that we recruited. And we had this Indian who was one of the head guys we used named Red Wolf. And then the other guy was Richard Dominique, who was my student, and myself. And we would do the buses and stuff. And then we went down to Hollywood. And so in Hollywood, one of my troops, we all got walkie-talkies, and it was like, I think it was like on Vine Street or whatever, Hollywood and Vine. And the guy says, hey, we're surrounded by Crips. This is true. We're surrounded by Crips. Okay, boom. We're running from the east. The other guys are running from the west. And then you see a sea of red berets surrounding the Crips. Okay. So now the police are all up and said, okay, all right, break it up here. Who's in charge here? They says, okay, we are. Says, listen, you guys, just don't step on my toes, okay? So, okay, no problem. So everything broke up. So that night, I'm doing a patrol, and we're walking the alleys of the back alleys of Hollywood, and there was a scream. And I go, whoa. And there was these guys. They were just harassing or they were assaulting this young lady, and of course, I thought it was going to be a potential rape. And I go running up. I go, what are you guys doing? And they, well, what do you think you're doing? Hey, those are the guys on TV. Oh, really? Okay. So we all are we didn't even have to get into it. Just got in our stances, and they ran. Because they knew, okay, we didn't even have to have the confrontation, just the confrontation. We just got in the stances and just stood there. Okay, you want to throw? Go ahead and throw. We're ready. And we had a rescue that night, and that was so cool that we were actually made a difference. And one time we walked down in Venice Beach, and the walkway on there, and we're walking by the restaurants, and they're just giving us the applause, the whole thing. Yeah, Angels, all right, Angels. You know,
Perfect.
we got television, press, all kinds of publicity at that time. And you know, they're trying to analyze it. So who do you think you are, Batman or what? You know, oh, I just want to help. I just want to make a contribution. You know, and that was pretty much basically how the Angels thing pretty much dissipated in LA, mainly because of the guys. It was too much. You know, everyone wanted to be the leader. You know, and I says, look, I got tournaments to do. I got things to do. I like doing it, but I can't let it get in the way of what I normally do. And it went that way. So that was my guardian, and I substantiated my claim, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely did. Go ahead, Dean.
All right, my next question. Now we're probably going to review your two movies that you directed, but can you tell us what they're about? Thunder Kick and Drifter TKD.
Okay, well, Thunder Kick. Leo Fong has got this great imagination. I love him. You know, so it's about harvesting organs. You know,
okay.
And I'm the guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the antagonist. I'm the guy who's Dr. Ronbo, who's basically, I got organs here. Need you to take this over here, and and we caught Leo Fong. Listen, look, Leo passed away, and it's a terrible movie. It's just terrible. Okay. I'm just going to give it to you. Terrible. Okay. All right. So you just know that right off the bat. Okay. Did it no budget. I did it free just to learn from him. Okay. Wazinski was really terrible. Terrible. I mean, how many times it's like, did you guys ever watch Columbo? You know,
I've seen it. I've never watched it. I've seen it.
Excuse me. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyways, I watch Columbo with my wife sometimes, and I go, that actor is a terrible actor. That, and they say, this is just terrible. That's a marginal actor. I mean, I'm very critical, about acting skills, and he would have some of the same actors come on over and over and over. But as far as, and I'm a marginal actor. I don't even call myself a good actor, but so it comes down to watch. If you're going to review it, just laugh at it. Okay. Okay.
We got no problem with that.
We do that a lot.
Okay. So we used Mark Foster. Mark Foster used to be a ranger, Power Ranger, right? The Blue Ranger when he was a kid. You know who Mark Foster is, right?
Yeah.
No, okay, so we worked with him on Thunder Kick. I said, Mark, I'm doing another film. We're going to go do this. So he's working with me on The Drifter. Now, The Drifter is a film that I started in Hawaii as a TV segment on my TV show, And, of course, I am doing my – it's not like Kwai Chang Kane, but, because it's, and I'm doing a homeless guy who his line was this. I'm not homeless. I'm a drifter, So, and that's basically I copped the Columbo kind of voice. If I was talking to you, hey, something, Joe, I like the beard, but you got to lose the glasses. I got to tell you something. You know what I mean? So, but I picked on that persona, throughout the whole movie. Throughout the whole movie, I'm that character. And then there was, because we didn't have other actors, I did another scene as somebody else, but it's short. You know it was me because I had the whole beard. I just blackened everything. So The Drifter is about something that was really true to my heart, and I was very lucky to get Leo Fong in it, and so it was about corporations taking over martial arts school. And I says, hey, I'm not going to be part of that. I'm not going to have corporations telling me what to do, And they have the whole thing laid out because if you guys know about martial arts schools, it's like, okay, we're going to put you on a contract and we're going to debit your account. What if I want to quit? Nah, you can't quit, And that was my whole thing. Is just people want to quit, they can quit. I used to, my whole thing when I did my school was a month. I just did that. If they didn't want to come, they want to come. But it's like if you want to learn how to be a boxer, you would go to Ali instead of Bob's Gym, right? So I made a name for myself that my school was successful because I had a name. And that's what got me over. And I really despised all of those kind of schools that would pop up, multiple belt programs. And it's like, okay, you get the red blue with one stripe, you got a red blue with a green, you get another blue stripe, and then you go on, and that's every 6 weeks, and it costs $150 to test. What a racket! Okay, right. So in my movie, I point stuff out like that, and so I says they took over. I says I can't stay. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go see my uncle in Tucson. So my dad had a ranch in Tucson, Arizona, and we filmed everything on that ranch. And the whole thing that went on, the whole escapade as we went, the storyline, it turned out decent to get nominations for action and film. But, oh, by the way, if you're going to review it, it's online on YouTube. Go to the director's cut because I edited again. I edited it. The director's cut is the one to go to. So I edited out superfluous footage that I left in because, Anyways, I
gotcha.
So, yeah, the thing is when you see the fight scenes, and they were short because the movie wasn't a martial art film; it was about a martial artist, and that was the difference. And that's so our fight scenes. Some of them are short, a couple of them are lengthy, but when you see the very first fight scene that I'm in. That was actual fighting. I was actually fighting the kid that was in there, it's actual. So you can watch it. And those moves that I did, those were the kind of moves I did in tournaments when you see them.
Yeah.
So that's, that's basically it. I'm not going to give the Drifter away because the Drifter, it actually wasn't a bad film for a $10,000 credit card movie.
Yes,
okay. That's all I gotta say.
Now, I want to follow. Hold on, Angel. Let me do a follow-up question. Now, based upon what you just said, did you make a lot of martial arts schools upset because they were doing exactly what you were talking about in the movie? Did you get a lot of people to give you a call?
I don't think people saw the movie enough to get kicking that. If I look how many people watched it, could be 4,000 at this point. That's not the 500,000 or it's nothing to be.
Got you.
Yeah, okay. I'm not a Chuck Norris.
Go ahead, Angel.
So my next question is kind of more of like a fantasy question. So since you did direct movies, I wanted to know if you could pick 3 celebrities, dead or alive, who would you have in a martial arts movie?
Wow, that is so cool. I was, I actually was fascinated by Jet Li for the most part. I thought he was by far phenomenal. Okay. So Jet Li versus Clint Eastwood. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that. I think that would be good.
that I'd like, and then Charles Bronson would be the third guy. So.
Okay.
You get to, Jet Li did something that the monkey thing, the Monkey King or something.
Yes.
That was really cool, and the fight scenes in there were just phenomenal. The monkey thing, is it's not easy. You got to be really, really, really good to be a monkey kung fu artist.
No, definitely. Go ahead, Joe. Your turn.
Well, kind of based on what we were just talking about, this follows into that. Do you have a favorite martial arts film in general? Something that you just like to watch over and over again?
Well, of course, it'll always go back to Enter the Dragon. I can recite it from beginning to end. Mainly because, it was Bruce Lee had the vision. I mean, being the pioneer of it all, he had the vision. I'm because I do editing and stuff. I'm pretty sure there were some parts that were speeded up. Okay. And, and he had to make it be subtle that no one's going to really notice. But, we know that, you could just speed it up slightly to make it look really good. But Enter the Dragon was the one that kicked off everything. that makes martial arts today. And the sad thing about it was David Carradine doing that kung fu thing when it was Bruce Lee that pitched it, and he should have got it.
I agree.
All right, and then he did Longstreet. Is that right? The blind guy, which was a role that really didn't feature him really, really, really good. But he, they didn't give him the kind of credit that he deserved, and it's sad that he was taken early.
Yes, sir.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
So you said you were in the Karate Kid 2. You did stunt work in the Karate Kid 2. What parts?
Oh, it's so funny. I love telling this story. So Bat Johnson says, Ron, I need you to cut your hair because you got to play a military guy. All right. So they get me and they cut my hair, and then we're going in there. So Macho's walking in Okinawa town with his girlfriend, and they look into the antagonist's window, and the antagonist says, "You, Lou, you line up," and he does us that two fight scene, right? And my thing, just do my stunt work and it's like that. They go. So there was a rack of martial art weapons, which consist of bows and things like that, And so I get the hit. I turn around. I hook all the bows. They fall onto me, and the director says, "Cut." Then Pat Johnson comes. Ron, what happened? But if we were ever to get footage of the Karate Kid, and so that would be in there. And it on my IMDb page, it just says Ron Stunt uncredited, for that movie. But that's what happened. It was fun. I played. I was real playful, to a point where I get in trouble. But they still hired me.
That's good.
Go ahead, Angel.
So I'm gonna switch around my questions. So I'm gonna ask my last question now, and I'm gonna save my fourth question for last. So I wanted to know. So now that you said it yourself, No Retreat, No Surrender is a cult classic, and I can say for myself personally, even though it came out, even though I was born way later than when it came out, I've watched that movie thousands of times, and I've tried to do the splits and everything. How does it feel to know that you've had such an impact on the martial arts community with that movie?
Well, according to my wife, take out the trash. That no impact at all.
Wives are good for that.
I'm astonished. That it's still it's still out there, and I get email from all over the world, Brazil, Iran. I mean, everywhere. Are you the Ron Pohnel that was Ian Riley? I mean, I can't believe it. But I'll tell you something. As far as what it was, it went down in history as being a $200,000 film, and it made over millions. It made millions. Okay, so I had a martial art manager named Brandon Pinder, and I says, listen, you got to negotiate some point. See, and I knew something about business. Negotiate a point for me in this film. Something, because some
residual income.
Exactly. Yes. And he couldn't do it. I'm sorry, they won't give you the point. They give you a VHS. Here you go. But as far as when this is a funny thing. So I reinvented myself in 2011. You guys all know Jack Felton, and
yes, sir.
Yeah, right. And
yes, sir.
So Jack and Jamie Matthews and Jack and Raymond Daniels. So when I'd be going these tournaments, and because they knew who I was, or actually Jamie knew who I was. And hey, Jack, this is the guy that No Retreat, No Surrender. Raymond, this is, oh yeah, I remember that one. So they said, come here, we'll train you. So here I am. So from 2011 to the pandemic in 2018, I'm doing tournaments in the senior division. Okay.
Yep. Yes, so, we were. Yes,
and
we were.
I did a combination of old school and new school. I would not do the whole thing. I would not go all new school, mainly because it took too much energy. And the thing is, the old school still worked. So the reason I'm bringing this up is people who didn't know who I was, and when they found out who I was, I don't believe it. You're the guy in the movie, and the guy would fight. He'd go, wow, I don't believe it. I love that movie, after I beat the guy. So, anyways, so the new school stuff that worked is basically the footwork that I learned from Jack and Raymond. The way to take off, because we used to do the running moves. I used to,
dive bomb, running dive bomb.
And if you're running, you're missing a step because you're pulling your foot back as you're running into them, right?
Sure.
You're running your moves. So Jack says, "Oh, push off your front foot," and I would get that move and the D side, turn, pow, the side kick.
Yep.
So in 2017, we were going on the tour again. That means 6 major tournaments, and in the 60 plus, I was blessed because they had a guy in every single division. I had a fight in every single tournament. And I won the championship that year, the world championship in 1917, NASCA.
Yes.
Okay. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because when people would find out you're the guy in No Retreat, No Surrender. Yeah, I know, I'm unrecognizable. Look at me. I'm not. But the thing is, I could still fight regardless. I still had a hook kick that could get up there at 62 and 3 years old.
Yes, sir. I want to just add to that story. I remember I was like in high school, 14, and I remember seeing you in a black and light blue top 10 uniform, and I'm seeing you fight on stage at the Golden Gate Internationals. I'm seeing you fight, and then I saw the League of Angels come out, and then I see you go into Diamonds, and I just kept saying, like, this is the guy from No Retreat, No Surrender, and everyone swore that I was making it up, and I'm telling you, this is the guy, and they kept saying, like, no, those are just actors. I'm like, no, like, he's a real fighter, like, he would, and then, like how you said, you were winning, so I just kept saying, like, he still has it, like, it was, so I just want you to know, just to say, my little fanboy moment now, it's true to, like, talk to you, because I've seen you for all these years, and it's just, like, a dream come true, but I can say, like, I'm one of those people that, like, got to look and say, man, like, he's actually, like, he's winning, and he backs up everything that happened in the movie.
Wow, a real fan. I used to say this on TV. I'm not an actor pretending to do martial artist. I'm a martial artist pretending to be an actor.
That's perfect.
That used to be my line.
Like that.
Awesome. Go ahead, Joe. Your turn.
All right, so this is my last question. Do you have any advice that you would give to a future martial artist trying to break into the movie industry, either stunt work, acting, or producing?
You know what? It's first of all, we're in the Gen Z generation, right? You know what a Gen Z is, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that have absolutely no enthusiasm to do anything.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
Okay. So, but if you do find somebody, you have to, it always starts like, you have to start as a stunt guy. You got to be that guy that's getting taken out. Always. You have to move up the ladder, because that's how it works. You can't just go in I'm going to be Ralph Macchio, and this is my opinion. They should have got a double for him. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, but you got to start at the bottom, and that is doing stunts. Learn it. Okay. And a lot of times when you're then you move to the coordinating. But if you want to be an actor, you've got it. Once again, you have to have presence, and the presence comes out when you are doing stunts. You'll know if you have presence, or, oh, this guy can't do a stunt. I was in Force 5. They made me do a lot of stunts because I was a wrestling fan, so I could do all this stuff, right? And there's one scene in Force 5 where every actor gets a hold of me. Boom, 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 and I'm just doing the whole thing, and then Benny comes up to me and I just fall down, boom, so you have to have that presence. Okay. Then if you're going to be an actor, and the reason I got the audition is because I improv'd. You got to be able to improv. If you can't improv when you're acting, you because the improv makes it look real. If you can come up with something that makes it something that's happening look real, you can't be stiff. Like, here's another funny story. So the second movie that Chuck Norris did was called Breaker Breaker, and he brings that to the school. He had one line in the whole movie. I'll do it for you. Yes. That was it. We watched the whole movie. He didn't say anything but yes. Okay, fine. So at least our hero was able to develop himself along the way. He did, and and became a very big presence on TV. But it's very difficult to break in. Seriously speaking, yeah, it's a who you know situation in the business, and the business kind of sucks because there's a lot of bad stuff going on in behind the scenes. And I'm now Reverend Ron Pohnel, and I know what goes on behind the scenes. And I wouldn't recommend, you can get an up and up guy situation, that's good, But I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So my last question: do you have any plans to do any future movie projects?
I'll tell you what, I don't know. I did the movie called, I wrote the book called Undercover Reverend, which is a full-on prelude for a screenplay because it's 400 something pages. Screenplay is only 200 pages. When you do a screenplay, it's a minute a page on film. It's a minute every page. Okay. So if you're going to get a 2-hour film, I got to edit it down. I would do that film because it would bring Christianity out right now when it's needed, because all the junk that's going on with Disney and all the Marvel stuff, it's junk. It's bad. So I can do a low budget Christian film, Christian martial arts film with two guys. Let's say, I'm trying to think of the kid that was really good, who would be really good in this part for me. The one that did some movies earlier, Northcutt.
Oh,
Sage.
If I got him, he would be the star, the protagonist. I would be the senior pastor who can fight, kind of thing, And they basically, the book's about it's about becoming a neighborhood watch and stopping some of these crimes that these kids from the high school that I work at. So it becomes between the church and the school and how I was able to influence and kids' lives and so on and so forth. And the book's called it's called Undercover Reverend because separation of church and state, so I could not come out and say, hey, I'm Pastor Poe, everybody, so I was just Mr. Poe, but I would bring the kids to the church and I help you, and so on and so forth. That would be a film to make that would be influential, only for the very reason because there's so much junk out there. And I would definitely use old school choreography.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I like it.
So just our last question to kind of wrap up the show, and I think it actually kind of works out really good. And it's to kind of be like your send off to just all the viewers and to everyone that's going to be listening. Who is Ron Pohnel beyond the martial arts?
Oh, well, beyond the martial arts, basically, I am now into the ministry. So I have a martial art ministry because it's like what I have to offer, and my wife, we are League of Angels. It still goes on.
Yes, sir.
She's going out on the circuit again. I've totally retired. I'm 67.
67.
Yeah,
that's a blessing.
God bless you.
I fought Terry. What's his? I can't remember. Terry. In my age, I was trying to remember his last name. I shouldn't. Yes, I fought him for first and second in the Battle of Atlanta in 2018. That was my last fight, and I didn't win. But it's okay because there were, I had 3 fights, and that's still going out to me great, Yeah. And Terry Kramer is just a phenomenal artist. Okay, so back to what your question was. What was your question again?
Just who is Ron Pohnel beyond the martial arts? I know I know about the ministry, and I know where your life is at in this next stage in your life, but I may not know all the details, and just to give everyone like who are you just beyond karate?
Okay, well, I have reinvented myself as a jazz musician. I don't have my bass with me right here, but I'm a jazz bassist, and I have also a jazz ministry, and I lead that, and that is just the coolest thing that we have going on because everyone. I mean, I have our keyboardist is 83, and he was like Don Ho's musical director. And Don Ho back in the day, right? And this guy is a phenomenon. So that's where I'm at now. The main thing is spreading the word of God is my life right now. And it's like if I can get the word out and I can save as many people as I can for the kingdom of heaven, that's the ball game right there. And that's the only reason why I would do one more film.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Fantastic.
You guys, it was such a pleasure to to have you to
was-
be on your podcast. I just want you to know.
It was a pleasure having you. You were
Yeah,
fantastic.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this was really a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. Again, like I said, like just being our first inaugural guest, and we couldn't have chose a better person to be on.
Well, yeah, I hope I didn't raise the bar to where everyone else will be boring.
Well, all right. I guess that's going to wrap it up for Fist, Kicks, and Flixx Extra with Mr. Ron Pohnel. Let's give him a hand, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Hey, listen, after you review the Drifter, call me back. I'll come and talk about it.
Oh, I think we'll have to because now I want to know.
Gonna have to.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, guys, I know we're supposed to do the John Wick series next, but let's do his next two movies instead so we can watch them while it's still fresh in our mind, and then we'll get to John Wick. What do you guys think about that?
Yes, sir. That sounds
I'm
great.
good with that. That's fine.
All right, you guys got any closing remarks or anything?
No, I'm
Nothing.
good.
Angel,
Anything
thanks
you
for
wanna
being
say?
a fan, Angel. Thank you.
Of course, sir, always.
I'm glad I that you got to prove everyone wrong.
Hey, listen, it wasn't just me. It was your work, your hard work. And like I said, just watching you, because I'm all the way on the East Coast. I live in Connecticut, near New York. So to just watch and just see it, and then now for the dream to come true, you have no idea how happy I am.
Hey, I'd shout out for Chris Walker, who got me to get you here.
Yes,
And Carlos Tierney, who I gotta say was the greatest, because he's not fighting anymore, heavyweight I've ever seen. He is the most talented heavyweight I have ever seen. When I first saw him at what was that big NBL thing that they used to do at the end?
Super Grands.
So we were Super Grains 2011, and we're going down to a seminar, and he's up there teaching it. And I look at this guy, go, oh my God, I hope he's not in my division. That's all I could say. I ended up fighting Bill Hunter, which, I love Bill Hunter. He's my best friend. But Carlos Tierney scared me to death. Oh, there's no way I'm going to get by this guy. Chris Walker came here to Hawaii, and over here, the traditional Hawaii schools are just brawling street fighters. Okay. And they came to our tournament, and Chris and Jack were there, and they tried their nonsense on him, and Chris Walker just belted up, and did things on them that they never seen, because Walker jump up, kick him in the head. Jack would just beat him up, and these were street fighters. So they, I have so much respect for these two guys, and I love them both.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Well, that's a good way to end it. We're giving CTE some props in their podcast.
Yep.
Well, once again, thank you, Mr. Pohnel, for joining us on Fist, Kicks, and Flixx Extra. Everybody, stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I am going to play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.